Hey, Connection Group leader, this is Pastor Matt with another edition of Connection Group Scoop on the Run. Hey, I wanted to just encourage you and thank you for staying connected with your group during these hard times. We can't meet with them enough during this time, and I hope that most of you have understood that and have been meeting with your connection group through the month of April, even though April is really our official month off, but due to circumstances in this world and the lack of being able to go to church, it is so important to stay connected. So take advantage of this time. Take advantage of Zoom meetings or GoToMeeting or whatever platform that you choose to use. And if you are not yet familiar with those and feel confident, I can help you develop that. So stay connected with your group, especially during this time. I wanted to make sure that it was communicated that being a connection group leader is so much more than being a host of a connection group. A connection group leader, an intentional leader in the lives of the people in the group, your main role is to drive them and help them pursue spiritual maturity in Christ. And that requires three things from an intentional leader. First of all, an intentional leader knows what spiritual maturity in Christ looks like. You have a good working definition of that. I shared that in a sermon a couple weeks ago, but if you're still vague with that, there is a resource in the resource tab of your small group page, and the resource is called The Description of a Discipled Person. Take a peek at that, and that's the stuff that we're moving toward, that we're helping all our people move toward. So an intentional leader is helping the people in his group move towards spiritual maturity. Number two, an intentional leader is also able to identify where each person in his group is at, so that he can help them take their next step toward spiritual maturity. What chair are they sitting in? What are the next steps for this person and for this person and for this person? And it's so important to understand that, because as connection group leaders, it's really easy to be tempted to, let's just, whatever the latest, greatest Francis Chan, right now media video is, or Andy Stanley or J.D. Greer, of course, that's going to be the one, but that may not be the right one for your group. And that requires really identifying where each person is at on their journey and helping them take that next step. And the third thing that an intentional leader knows and understands is they are able to create that environment, that relational environment within their small group that will help each person pursue Christ and pursue maturity in Christ. So that looks, when you have that role in your mind, that I am the discipleship person for these people, it is my role as the intentional leader to help move them towards spiritual maturity in Christ. That kind of opens the door for a few different things. It's more than being a host. It's more than making the food and opening your home and press and play on Right Now Media. It's you being able to drive these people toward maturity in Christ. And sometimes that just requires to pause. Today, I just want to take 4 or 5 minutes of our time together to go over the gospel, the 4 main points of the gospel, and here they are. Or to talk about the best way to share your faith story, and here that is. Or to what to pray or how to journal. And if you include those things, that will help move people toward maturity in Christ. So I want to challenge you with doing that. And here's how I want to challenge you with that. For my group, we have chosen this season to memorize a verse in Philemon 1:6. And the verse says this: I pray that you may be active in sharing your faith, so that you will have a full understanding of every good thing we have in Christ. I pray that you may be active in sharing your faith, so that you will have a full understanding of every good thing we have in Christ. Now, at first glance, that verse, evangelism, it definitely includes evangelism, but the verse is more than that. It includes sharing my faith into the lives of other people so that they can grow closer to Jesus wherever they may be on their journey. They may be a follower of Jesus already, but me sharing my faith in Christ is going to help them grow and take their next step in Christ as well. Couple things that I've been challenging my group with and will continue to all season is, during this crisis and people are freaking out and the Christian books and the Bibles are disappearing off the shelves at Walmart, people are looking and they're searching. So I'm challenging our group, and I want you to challenge your group as well to be ready, to be prepared, as 1 Peter 3:15 says, to always be prepared to give an answer to everyone who asks you to give the reason for the hope that you have. To be prepared with the gospel, to be prepared with their story. Those are some ways that we can be active in sharing our faith, to be prepared to tell it, to be prepared to help somebody. So I would challenge you to challenge your people to be prepared. What I have done, and I've put in the resource section on your small group page, a document called the 4 Main Points of the Gospel. Help your people understand the gospel and how to clearly present the gospel. There's 4 main points: God, us, Christ, you. And you can read that and you can help your people understand. If they don't understand the 4 main points of the gospel, often what happens is when they do find their place and somebody's asking questions, they get clammed up, they get scared, their confidence lacks, or they go off on these rabbit trails and the gospel is never really talked about. But if you help your people understand the 4 main points of the gospel, just drive it into them weekly, talk to them, ask them, email it, text them, ask them to repeat it. And then the other document that I've also included in the resource section is developing your story. Help your people know their story. What are they about? How did they come to know Christ? And how they can share that story with other people. And that's just the 3-point outline again. What was my life before I met Jesus? How did I meet Jesus? And what changes have been in my life since I've met Jesus? Hey, I hope this helps. Be an intentional leader with the people in your group will help drive them toward maturity. So please see yourself as the main discipleship person for them, and let that drive your leadership in your group. Hey, until next time, this has been Pastor Matt with another edition of the Connection Group Scoop on the Run.